All right, what's going on, everyone? Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Much appreciated. And today we're going to be looking at an electric commuter bike from Macwheel. So right beside me here is the Macmission 100 bike. Electric commuter style e-bike with a 350 watt rear hub motor. It's a 36 volt system, 13 amp hour battery pack in there. Super lightweight, only weighs like 48 pounds, at least according to my scale. And it's at the, I guess, lower end of the price spectrum. So for those of you looking for an affordable option to get into e-biking, here you go. So I'm going to do my best today to walk us through this bike front to back and show you all the pieces and parts you get for your money, hopefully help you decide if it's one you want to consider or not. And as we go, I'll try to talk about it as best I can, tell you what it was like for me riding it, point out anything I noticed that might be important to the average e-biker. And also want to point out right up front though that this bike is here courtesy of Macwheel. I did not purchase the bike. They sent me the bike for the purpose of putting some information out there, riding, testing, reviewing, and just kind of letting the e-bike community know what you get on the Macmission 100. So that's what we're doing today. And if you have any questions at the end of the video, definitely put them in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them. And I will, of course, link this bike in the description below so you can get there easily. But let's get started. All right, so Macmission 100 bike from Macwheel. Comes in just this color, this black, white, red combo, and right now goes for $849 on the website, and of course I'll link it below for you. But let's start going through some of the components so you can see what you get at that price point. For tires, they are Compass Metro Elite is what they say on them. It's a 27.5 by 1.75. See the tire tread on there. Nice tires. I think they're pretty sharp looking actually. And really the only thing I have to say about them is they are absolutely silent on the road. You can't hear these tires at all, which, you know, I'm used to a lot of the fat tire bikes which just kind of roar down the road. These are just dead silent. It's a very, very quiet bike going down the road. And since this is more of a commuter style bike, these are meant to be very fast rolling tread on here, and then also the tire pressure. It says you should run them 45 to 60 PSI. So I think I pumped them up right around 40, which was firm enough for me. I like to have a little bit of squish in there. It helps with the bumps since there is no suspension on the bike. So you run them very, very high pressures to keep them fast rolling. But if we come around to the other side, we'll take a look at the brakes. So disc brakes, mechanical disc brakes, cable pull. It's 160 millimeter disc on there. I don't see any markings really on the levers or on the caliper here to tell you what brand they are. I don't know what brand the brakes they are. They're okay. I mean, they weren't outstanding, but they stopped the bike. You know, they did what they're supposed to do. They bring you to a stop, so I guess no complaints there. You do have a quick release on your front wheel, so that's good. And we'll swing over here so we can take a look at the front forks. It's not a suspension fork, it's just, you know, rigid front fork, so no suspension on this bike, front or back. You might want to add like a suspension seat post, would probably help out a lot with bumps. I mean, not really a bike you're going to ride off-road. This is built for the streets, built for pavement, so no suspension on the front of it. And Macwheel does supply you fenders for this bike, both front and rear fenders. And you know, I've purchased fenders like this before from Amazon. They're a pretty cheap set of fenders, but hey, they're included in the purchase price. So use them, don't use them, it's up to you. Now this frame is pretty much all flat black. You've got Macmission written up here. You've got Macwheel written here. You got a little bit of a sticker on here to protect, I guess, the paint job from the chain slap there. Macmission 100 again right there. I mean, I like the color and the graphics on the bike. I think it looks pretty sharp, and the wheels match it nicely too. Up here on the front, there's no mounting brackets for any front basket or anything, so it would be nice to see them add that on if they could. But your wires are tied nice and neat. You know, these electric bikes have a lot of wires on them. You've got your shifting wires, and then you've got the brakes and the brake cutoffs and the throttles and the displays. There's a lot of wires, and you know, they do have them tied nicely, so I appreciate that. I always appreciate when they wrap them up as best they can up here. And this bike does have the motor cutoffs in the brake lever, so when you pull the brake, the motor is disengaged. You've got a twist throttle on your right hand, and your thumb shifters here, the Shimano 7-speed thumb shifter. This takes you down gears, this takes you up gears. Handlebars are pretty flat. Pretty wide. I think they're like 27 inches wide, and there's a lot of area up here for you to clip on whatever accessories you want, you know, bottle holders or cell phone mounts or whatever you got. There's a lot of space up here to add stuff on. And over on this side you've got your display screen, so let's get that turned on for you so you can see what you get here. Very basic display. It's a KD58C, and it gives you battery indicator, miles per hour, and your pedal assist level. You've got up and down arrows here to go up and down on pedal assist. There are 5 levels of pedal assist. And if you push the power button here in the middle, it'll toggle through all the different screens. So you've got a trip meter, you've got odometer, the ride time, average speed, max speed, and then you're back to the beginning. So gives you all the necessary information you need, so I like that. All right, well, to give you a little perspective on the geometry of this bike, I'll throw up some video clips here of myself sitting on the bike. I'm 6 feet tall, so you can get a feel for what that looks like. I was comfortable on it, good size for me. Can also show you what it was like for my 5'3" wife to sit on the bike, and you know how much she could or could not touch the ground. Hopefully that gives you a feel for if this bike would fit you or not. And I'll flash up on the screen for you the minimum and the maximum seat heights, and just so you know, I take that measurement from the ground to the top of the seat. All right, well, let's zoom in on this battery. So you've got a 36 volt 13 amp hour battery pack on here. Try to get a shot of the sticker for you. And right here is your charging port. You can charge the battery on the bike, or you know, use the key to unlock it and take it off the bike. Got your little dust cover there to cover up the charging port. Power switch right here, turn the battery off and on. That's it for the battery. There's no USB charging port or anything like that. There's also not one on the display screen, so no USB charging ports on the bike that I have found yet. Would be nice if they added one of those somewhere. So your controller, a lot of times they're mounted right here on the down tube coming from the seat. Sometimes they're mounted on the front here. This one is in neither of those spots, so I'm assuming that it is inside the frame. I've seen other bikes like that where, you know, they hide the controller inside the frame, which is nice. I guess they protect it from any kind of water or splash or anything like that, and it cleans up the look of the bike as well. So I'm betting it's inside there. You've got a plastic front chainring protector, single-sided. You've got metal pedals, and we've got a Shimano 20 derailleur. It's a 14/28 tooth on the freewheel. And inside the back wheel, you've got your power plant. So a 350 watt rear hub motor. I think they say it's got about 50 Newton meters of torque. And we can talk now a little bit about the performance of the bike. I did do a bunch of tests when I was out riding. First off, top speed pedaling. So when I jumped on the bike, put it in you know, 7th gear, and also in the high pedal assist 5. Pedaled as hard as I could down a straight stretch, and I think I got it up to around 25, 26 miles an hour pretty easily. You can feel the motor stop assisting you right around about 22 miles an hour. So anything above that is going to be all human power. Now for the throttle only top speed, you know, without pedaling, just twisting the throttle on a long straight stretch, I was able to get the bike up to about 22 miles an hour or so. And then after that, you just kind of feel the motor just stop delivering power. So it goes about 21, 22 miles an hour just twisting the throttle. So for the hill climb test, I do them usually two different ways. I'll put the bike in mechanical gear 4, you know, somewhere right in the middle, and then pedal assist 3, somewhere right in the middle, and start pedaling up this moderate hill. And I really don't push on the pedals at all. I just kind of turn them so the cadence sensor picks up. I just like to see how much power the bike's delivering. And in that scenario, the bike, it made it up the hill. It wasn't crazy fast. It slowed down pretty good at the steep part of the hill, but it made it up. If you're going to be pushing on the pedals, it's going to have no trouble at all. It'll take you right up the hill. I didn't really push on the pedals. I just made the bike do all the work. The other test I did is I come back down and I just use throttle only. I don't pedal at all, and throttle only up the hill. The bike made it, you know, no problem. I think it was 7, 8, 9 miles an hour, somewhere in there. Made it up just fine. This bike, it's not a crazy powerhouse. I mean, it's a 350 watt motor, right? So it's gonna help you up the hills, and it's not gonna climb them with absolute ease though. You're gonna have to help the bike. You're gonna have to pedal a little bit if you want to go up the hill fast anyway. And I mean, I did this, I came to a hill and I started going up the hill, and I don't think it was like pedal assist 3, and then just to show the difference, I turned the power off, and I mean, it was night and day difference. You don't really realize how much that little 350 motor is helping you. As soon as I turned it off, I had to stand up to start pedaling to make the hill. So even though it is only 350 watts, it does provide some good assistance going up the hill. So it's going to take that burn out of your legs when you're biking, which is, I think, what e-bikes are supposed to do, really. It's to take some of the effort out and make it more fun, where you're not breaking a sweat and your legs aren't on fire constantly. You've got the motor to help you out when you need it. For the acceleration test, you know, 0 to 20, it wasn't bad for just being, you know, the 36 volt, 350 watt bike. It gets up and running pretty good, so no complaints there. All right, so 2 more things I want to talk about with regard to the Macmission 100 bike. First is This bike is surely in competition with another bike out there from Rad Power Bikes, the Macmission bike, right? So let's talk about that. Now let me say this too right up front. I have not seen or ridden a Macmission bike, so I'm going based off of the specs that I read online about it. But it's the Rad bike is $150 more. It's $999. You know, this bike's $849, so 150 bucks more for the Rad bike. What do you get for that extra 150 bucks? So from what I can see is it looks like it has a little bit better brakes. It's got Tektro brakes on it, which are probably going to be a little better than this. It does appear to have a front basket mounting bracket, so you can add a front basket on it if you wanted. The Rad bike is a 48 volt 500 watt system on it, so it's probably going to be a little bit more powerful. And it also does have a built-in headlight and taillight, which this bike does not have. So seems like some decent upgrades for the extra 150 bucks, right? So now let's talk about the Macmission 100 bike. So what are the benefits on this one? Because I do see some benefits here as well. So the first being that it gives you a display. So the Rad gives you more of like a control panel with some LED lights, where this one gives you a display that shows battery, pedal assist, and your speed. So I mean, it's a basic display, but I'd rather have the display as opposed to the little control panel thing. So I like that better. This bike has a larger battery, so it's a 13 amp hour battery as opposed to Rad's, I think like 10 and a half, something like that. So typically that'll translate into a longer range out of a bike. And this is also a fast charging system. So battery charges in 3 hours. I did turn over the charger on this bike. It said it's a 4 amp charger, which is kind of huge. Normally they're like 2.5 amp. So 3 hour charging time on this bike. The price, of course, it is $150 cheaper for the Macmission 100. All right, and here is the most important advantage I can see of the Macmission 100 bike, and that's right here. It's a 7-speed. That Macmission bike is a single speed. So, you know, if you come to a steep hill and you need to downshift, you can do that with this bike. You've got the 7 mechanical gears to help you out as you ride around. The Rad bike doesn't have that, so something to consider. So up to you to decide what works best for you as you compare bikes. But here is one other topic I want to bring up with regard to this bike. And that is, what if you tried to build your own e-bike? If you want to convert an old bike hanging in your garage, could you do it for less money than this bike? And I don't know, actually, because I went online and priced out some of the components, and to get a similar, you know, conversion kit, right, where you get a motor, a pedal assist sensor, a display, a throttle, brake cutoffs, controller, all that kit that's, you know, has the same spec as this is about $304, I think I found. That's not including the battery. You got to go buy the battery next, right? And a similar battery pack, 36 volt, 13 amp hour, I found one of those for $380. So if you want to take your old bike and convert it and have it be similar to this, it's going to cost you $685. Well, I mean, let's round up for taxes. So $700 just to get the parts to do it. Then you got to do it. So then you got to wire it all up. You got to mount everything. You got to, you know, possibly drill holes or mount controllers, mount batteries on the bike. And even then, you're left with a bike that, you know, probably doesn't have disc brakes on it. It probably has, you know, the old school brakes that just pinch the rim of the tire. So I don't know if you could really build an equivalent bike to this for less money. I mean, at $849, this is kind of, it's hard to beat. It's hard to beat by just buying the parts yourself. The price of parts right now is kind of going up quite a bit. So if you're looking at converting one of your old bikes into an e-bike, you might want to match it up against this and see if you could actually do it cheaper or not. You might be better off just buying something like the Macmission 100. All right, well, that's all I've got for you today. If you're considering the Macmission 100 bike, I hope you found some useful information in this video to help you to decide if it's the right one for you or not. I will link the bike below, also Macwheel's website too, so you can check out all their e-bike offerings. If you have questions on the bike, put them in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer them if I know the answer. And I think that's it for today, so thank you so much for watching.